how you felt about that.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I don't know Richard Seymour personally, but just the stories I heard of how he's a mountain of a man, and how he just dominated. Like when I got there, I will always hear Vince talk about when he first got there, and it was him, Richard Seymour, Tiny, all of these like great players that when you look at the 3-4 defense, it was like, man, you couldn't do anything with those guys up front. So, you know, I think you can tell how good Seymour was as a player because his legend kind of lived on, even when he was playing in Oakland. And once he retired, still to this day, people in that building talk about Richard Seymour and the type of player he was. So unbelievable honor. A lot of great players in the Patriot Hall of Fame. And, you know, it was him, Vrabel, and Parcells. And then I was reading Vince will be up eligible next year. I think Wes Welker. So I'm pretty sure it'll be a log jam out there soon. There's a lot of great players.
Yeah. I got a question for both of you guys. Your reaction to the final 2 episodes coming up with Last Man?
I'm looking forward to these last 2 episodes, but I'm also like, it's bittersweet. Like these past few weeks, man, Sunday's been a big day. Like looking forward to it, all the anticipation on social media. So now to know, like, man, this is it. After this, we're gonna have to find something new to watch. So, but I'm excited for it, man. It's been awesome so far.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same, man. Like I don't want to wrap it up, but all great things must come to an end, I guess.
There you go. Well,
thanks, guys.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man. Mama Mac is in the comments. She says she has her wine. She is drinking on a little Camus, fancy. She got the expensive stuff. I'm not drinking on Camus, but I don't even know what this is. I don't know what this is, but I was the first.
Alex Rebenag Elementary. Okay. Guessing right.
Question, besides your brother Jay, who's your favorite Patriots teammate, past or present? That'd be easy for me. I've only been there 2 seasons. Got along great with everybody in the locker room, but if I had to choose one guy, he's now playing in Detroit. I have to go with Deron Harmon. We have kids that are similar ages. Our wives both got along well, so that I'm definitely gonna miss him. That was my guy. Often me and him were in the locker room picking on Dev, so it's going to be tough without keeping Dev in line.
I can't name just one guy. I would say Matthew Slater, Vince Wilfork are some of my definitely favorites on defense that I kind of grew with, especially Slate. We were young captains together and leaders, and he's helped me a lot in my career. And then Vince was a great mentor. Him and Mayo, 2 of the guys that were kind of stalwarts on the defense that I got to learn from and learn about leadership and how to be a good player in this league. So those are some of my favorites.
Elian said he just started watching Ozarks. Great show. Keep it going. Coming up, we got Trisha on the fan line coming from Mass. And also Larry from Facebook said, will we sign Cam Newton? No idea. But with everything going on with Corona, it seems like it's put a big halt on a lot of free agent acquisitions. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well. Enjoying our Sunday wind down.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. Why aren't you drinking Hampton water wine, knowing it's from one of Bill Belichick's favorite singers, Bon Jovi?
Well, Bill Belichick and Bon Jovi better send us some.
Well, another thing is his son Jesse does a live feed every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at 5 p.m. He would love to have people come on and join him. He's looking for people, put it that way.
They send us some wine, we'll be drinking.
That's what they usually do, is if they know that you are looking for it, they actually send it to the people that they are going to be interviewing.
Okay, I have to check that out. Hampton Water Wines?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out. See what that's looking like. I'll have to figure out
order. And can you do a quick one for me? Just say hello to Courtney Blaze. She is a Leominster High School math teacher, and she is also a Patriots fan, as am I.
Courtney Blaze, what's up? Hope you're watching, and we appreciate you, all of the teachers out there working their butts off to get these kids to graduation and advancing. So big appreciation, man. Shout out Courtney.
Thanks, guys.
No problem. Thank you.
Hampton Waterwines. I hear you, J Mac, trying to get you some free wine.
Hey, I don't discriminate. I'll drink it all.
Yeah, we don't got no endorsement deal here. We mix it up.
Oh, here we go, Dev. Richard here. Guys, what Catholic high school is your headache? Bergen Catholic, Bosco, or Paramus? Paramus was trash when we were in high school, though.
Paramus Catholic didn't get good until Jabril Peppers went there. Yeah. Other than that, we beat them by 4 touchdowns every year. And we used to kill them in basketball. And football, I hate Bergen, and basketball, I hate Bosco. But overall, I hate all of them.
You can't say it better than that. We got Matthew coming up next on the fan line. I talked to LeGrand. He's trying to get his camera to work, so we're waiting.
Oklahoma. What's up, Mike? I can hear my wife yelling at my daughter in the tub.
We got some new wine drinkers on here too. We're waiting for. We got coming up next on the fan line. We got Matthew.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, Matt?
Hey, man, I got a question for Dev.
What's up?
Hey, so when you first came into the New England Patriots, you came in as a cornerback.
Yep.
I've been watching you since that day, man. How was it when Bill shifted you over to safety?
Man, I'd be lying if I said it was like great and I loved it. It was frustrating, man. It's just my second year of not playing as well as I wanted to, having some ups and downs. And then it was, I want to say like the last game or last 2 games, I started playing some safety in passing situations. And then in the playoffs, playing safety, same thing in passing situations all the way to the Super Bowl. And it felt like, just getting through that year, and then the next year coming back. And I think the first 4 games against Baltimore wasn't my best game. But other than that, had played well. And I remember Coach Flo coming to me and was like, yeah, you're going to be in my room and moving you to safety. And I was like, huh? And, as a player, you're young, it was like, man, I got to do this or I won't be on the team. But inside it was just frustrating. Because it feels like a demotion, like you move positions, especially after being a starter, and they move you. It's like, dang, I blew it. But then, supporting my teammates, getting out there, playing as a team, as a unit in the back end, I was like, man, I'm going to try to be the best safety I can be. And I played safety in college and all of that. And it's honestly what I liked doing before even playing corner. So it was fun once I got the hang of it, and then just try to get better and better at it. But in the beginning, it was definitely frustrating.
Hey, you came out to be one of the best free safeties now.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Trying to still get better in this old age.
Yeah. Jay, I got a question for you.
What's up?
Hey, whenever you got that call from Bill saying you're gonna come over, or actually with your brother that called you, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah. How was that feeling knowing you're gonna be a Patriot?
At first I thought he was lying. Then once he did, for me, it was really cool to become a Patriot, but it was bigger than that. For me, it was just really cool to be able to finally get a chance to play alongside my brother. To be honest, that could have been anywhere, and I was going to be thrilled to do it. But obviously, an organization that had done so much winning before I got there, had a great pass, obviously really good coaching staff and some great players in the locker room. By far the most exciting move of my career to be able to head up back closer to home in the Northeast and get a chance to play in that locker room with those guys. So definitely was pumped up when Dev gave me that call.
He was about to win. He had to be excited.
All right. I got one more. So what are y'all looking forward to the most coming up season?
Honestly, man, I think everything I put in perspective, playing. I just want to be able to get back, with the guys safely. And as much as we hate training camp, like training camp will be cool. And just playing, whether it's the first preseason game, first regular season, whatever that first moment is of kind of knowing football's back, I think is what probably every player is looking forward to, just because of how serious everything is going on around us.
Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Hey, we got Daniel. He said he lives about 60 miles from Foxborough. He's watching with his son Lane. Shout out them. We already shout out my man Mike in Oklahoma. We got everywhere, people watching. Did we FaceTime with our coaches? Now we are on something else, but we don't do one-on-ones really with the coaches, but we do like a lot of other teams hang out on our virtual meetings, where we do meetings, watch film. A lot of work being done, even though we're not together. So still getting after it.
For sure. Coming up next, before we get to E, he's still figuring some stuff out, but we got our man Marcus coming up next on the fan line. So get your energy ready, get fired up.
If this is your first time.
I already saw he said he has a great question. I know he's going to be fired up. So we got our guy Marcus. There he goes.
Here we go.
Is that a John Hammond?
Thank you again. How are you guys doing?
Good, man. Is that a John Hannah jersey?
You know it.
Ooh,
Yes,
that's legendary. That's legendary. Got the Hannah on. Legendary.
Uh-huh. Okay, well, I got a question for you guys. I know that you two both are professional athletes, and training is very important, but during this time, it's the training you do at home is so differently harder than going to camp?
Nah, this time of the year, I would definitely say it's not harder, and especially with everything going on, everybody around trying to find different access to different gyms. I would say the training that goes on right now is preparing us for training camp. So we're starting here, and we're just slowly ramping it up, and then by the time training camp, you're ready.
Yeah. Oh, the other question is for you guys. You guys were all-stars in high school, all-stars in college, but did you ever dream that you two would go pro?
It's funny, man. Honestly, in high school, J-Mac was an all-star. I was an in-between. So then we got to college. I was an all-star. Jay was a little in-between. But I would say ever since we was young, we dreamed about being in the NFL. Yeah, we kept that goal no matter what. We just kept working, man, until we actually got it. Yeah, it was fun.
You're getting a lot of love in the comments, man. Marcus is a legend. Hey, Marcus.
Thank
a lot of love, baby.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
4, 5. Oh, save for the best for last, right, game?
There you go.
Only one that matters.
Always got to do that.
And we appreciate hearing from you every week, Marcus, man. Good to see
Always.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep that jersey nice and clean. That's great right there.
Yes,
hey, I got a cool question before we jump into the interview. Where was it at? Laura asked, parenting question, Devin, how on earth do you maintain the white couch behind me? The kids are not allowed in here. That's why I have pictures up there. They can't touch them. So that's the only way to have a white couch.
That is a great way of asking a question like, what in the world are you doing with a white couch, a white rug, and a house with will be 3 kids?
My wife. Brian Cooper from Nyack said, what's up? There we go, Yaktown.
I just like the way that question was worded. While LeGrand is figuring out his camera, we got Mike Reiss. He's already back. So we're going to bring out Mike Reiss. Obviously, for you guys that don't know, works for ESPN, beat reporter for the Patriots, does so much stuff in that avenue. And I want to give you guys a special guest. We got Mike Reiss coming up next on the fan line. There he goes. What's up, Mike?
All right, Jason. Hey, Devin. I got my son Nathan with me tonight. This is our family tradition on Sunday night. We've been watching like the last 6 weeks of all the podcasts. So this is fun to be with you guys. Thank you.
Mike, do you remember which kid it was that you brought to the bowling alley back in like 2011 with Kyle Arrington?
I do. I'm going to pull up the picture on my phone and I'm going to show it. It's my daughter, Talia. And I remember she was like putting it on like the little ramp there. Remember that?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can pull up the picture while we're talking.
That's when we were young bucks, my second year in the NFL. We'll start off just with your journey. I have read a little bit and listened to a little bit about you, but what made you choose sports? I know your dad was a sportscaster.
Yeah.
Did you start with just watching him, or did you always just have a love of sports?
It was from him, watching him, and I always wanted to be a professional athlete, but you guys have seen me, and you probably knew where that was going right when you laid eyes on me, right? like maybe I could have been a kicker, maybe. No, that wasn't happening. So actually, you know, when I was like 15 years old, my dad was like, go to the local newspaper and maybe you can still be around sports, you know, and write about them. And that's how I started. I just started at my local newspaper before I even had my license. He would drop me off. My mother would drop me off at the newspaper. And that was like my team, you know, and we would be there Friday nights for all the high school games and Saturdays. And it was like really cool because that was part of our community, you know, and I would go cover the games and all these big offensive linemen would look down on me and be like, put my name in the paper. And I'd be like, oh, I sort of like this. Like, I actually have like a little cachet here with these guys, you know, and I never stopped.
It was cool just kind of reading up and learning about you. Like, you wasn't even, you know, a huge Patriots fan to start. Like, the Patriots, you know, weren't what they are today. So I'll ask two-part question. What was your favorite team growing up that you was like, man, this is the team I want to cover? And then your early career, like you just said, high school sports, college sports. I know you covered UMass. What was the best year that you covered a team where it was like, this is why I joined this job?
Yeah. So growing up, it was the Celtics in the 80s. So that was Larry Bird and Dennis Johnson, Danny Ainge, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish. I used to be in my driveway pretending I was the Celtics against the Lakers with Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, James Worthy. Like, and I used to play games, you know, in my driveway. So that was my team. And then the best, like, I guess the best season would probably be 2007 Patriots, like that undefeated season. And I always tell the story of like when Tom was going for the record of most touchdown passes and Randy Moss was going for the record of most touchdown catches. And do you remember when they set the record in that it was a night game against the Giants and like Tom threw it to Randy, like long pass down the right side, just missed it. And the next, like, it was the same play and they got it. Thinking like on the back of my neck was, you know, like it was like, that's sports.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
I think I'm back. Am I back?
Yeah,
we can hear you. Yep. Anybody
Okay.
past or present, is there one player that you say you love to interview that you just haven't gotten a chance to interview? And it could be past or present.
Any sport?
Any sport.
And to be honest, like and talking to you guys, like we talk a lot about like we love sports, but like it's beyond sports. Like it would probably be more like someone political or like outside of the sports arena now, you know? Like Obama would be someone I'd love to sit and talk to.
that would be.
You and me.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's it, because and that's what I love talking to you guys about. Like we love sports, but it's like there's so much beyond that too.
No
you
doubt
know,
about it. No doubt about it.
We had to give a commencement speech like 2 years after Obama did at Rutgers, and that was a lot to live up to. We do have a quick YouTube question. I think it's more of like a funny question. Mike, why do you think the players like you more than other members of the media, like Scott Zolak?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah,
right? Like it depends who we ask.
Yeah.
Right?
I thought it was interesting when you said you talked about covering teams and you said, obviously you're covering a sport and you're covering a team, but more than that, you're covering people, and that's how you approach your job. Explain kind of the different approach you have because of how you think about. You're not just covering a sports team and results and all, but you're actually covering people.
I think it's so important, Devin. We're writing about sports and strategy, but if you're not writing about the people under the helmet, like you're losing the soul. It is. Like to moment title game in Kansas City, when you guys celebrating on the field about going to the Super Bowl together, like that was a lot, like that was very meaningful because of what you guys have been through together, or Malcolm Butler, when he makes that interception, he made an interception to help the Patriots win the Super Bowl, but to know his story doesn't it mean that much more if you know what he overcame to get there, So I think that to me, guys, is sort of like a great part of sports is the people behind it and their stories, because everyone has a story, and I love to hear those stories.
That's awesome, man. I know your dad obviously was a sportscaster. Were there any other mentors when you first, got in, whether it was at UMass when you were in college or when you first got to ESPN? Were there any mentors that really helped you out a lot early in your career?
I have so many of them. I would say one of them, his name is Lenny Megliola, and he is the sports columnist at the newspaper in my hometown, Framingham, Massachusetts. And when he came to a game, guys, you knew it was a big game, and he meant something in the community, right? Like he would write and everyone would go pick up the newspaper. Well, what did Lenny have to say, And so he was the first one where I would sit down at my computer and be like, I want to try to write like Lenny. And then it just goes on and on down the line of great people. I think my connection.
Yeah, it's kind of going in and out sometimes.
You still got him?
Still there?
Yeah, we might have lost him. I actually have a great question that David in the comments, if we get him back on there, he just said has been the most awkward response he's ever gotten from Bill at a presser. So I think that a lot of people want to know that. Also, Mona on Facebook, miss you in Nashville. J-Mac, tighten up. Appreciate that. I definitely miss everybody in Nashville. And right now, I guess it's been a little bit warmer here, but I've definitely been missing that weather.
I had Logan on last week. That is all of the Nashville talking we would do. Unless Titan or former Titan, we don't need to mention the Titans. We do need to bring on Griff, man, the cupcake boss. We got to get him on here talking about cupcakes one point.
We got Mike back. We got a good question for you, David, on the fan line. He asked,
I don't know why I can't stay on here, Navy.
What is the? Can you hear us?
I feel like I'm letting you down, guys.
Can you hear us now, Mike?
What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think you can hear us. We'll have to get back with Mike.
But Mike Reiss does an awesome job. Like I said, bowling event Kyle had for charity. He was there. We speak at the State House. He was there. He goes to a lot of things that guys do off the field or actually writes about them. Like in his Sunday column when he writes 10 bullet points. Like today I was reading Joe Tooney autographed cleats and sent them to someone. He just always mentions great things that guys do in the community and for other people. And I think the fan said, why do players I think that's a part of it, just the human approach of us being people before we're athletes. And I would say there's a lot of people that are beat reporters for us in New England, our locker room, that and take interest in things we do off the field, interest in our family. We have actual conversations. We're all people in there. And I've enjoyed that over my 10 years, going on 11 years in New England, is actually having relationships with people. We're not best friends, but more than just a question and the answer every day.
Doubt about it. Larry asks on Facebook, have we been back over to the stadium? I know Dev hasn't. I had off-season surgery, so I've been one of a few of the guys that have been able to still be over there rehabbing and doing what we need to do inside the facility. So those are the only guys that are really prohibited to be back right now, is guys that are rehabbing some form of an injury from the season.
Not me.
Yeah.
Not me.
We got Josh coming up from Tampa next. We got Josh coming up on the fan line from Tampa. Sorry about that, guys. We lost Mike due to his connection. We'll try to get him back on here. If not, but we'll see. What's happening?
How you doing?
What's up, man?
Josh Allen in the house. You know how it goes. So yeah, just want to let you guys know that I recently took a job. Don't hate me, but I'm a writer and analyst for Bucks Report down here in Tampa. Kind of get my foot in the door, do some interviews. I've had some interviews with some players on the Buccaneers, and just like getting my feet wet. I know you guys are kind of interested in doing the media. You've done a lot of it already. Once you're done with your careers, but like, do you guys have any advice, or what advice have you guys been gotten, or anything like that you could share? And then what was it like just going up against Gronk and Brady in practice, and just how did they elevate your game? How did they make you better? And just wondering those questions.
I'll answer the first part, Deb. You do the second part. You went against those guys for a decade. So I would say, as far as advice going into it, I would say number one is just try to focus on being yourself. Obviously, you're going to be writing for other people to read and other people to listen to you. So you have to listen to the things that they want. But I think when you deal with players, the one thing that you can control is just being yourself, being down to earth, treating those guys like human beings. Whether a guy has a good game or bad game, you have a job to do when you show up there. But being genuine and being yourself, guys appreciate that. They understand that you have to ask the tough questions, but you just have to choose kind of not who you're going to be as a writer. Some guys are more of the sarcastic guys, or the guys that they're always going to be negative, and everything that comes out is negative and is sarcastic and things of that such. And to be honest, that's fine. I think if that's who you are and that's how you write, be comfortable in that and go ahead and do that. But I think in sports in general, everybody at times we can get lost in trying to become who we think people want us to be. So my first thing I would tell you is just try to be yourself as you go down that avenue.
Yeah, I would echo everything Jay said about that. And I would say also learn from the other people that'll be around you, whether it's a legend in the journalism game or it's just somebody that you watch and you're like, man, they're pretty good. Just try to learn from watching them. And I would say that's what I learned a lot from Tom, watching him prepare, seeing what he did day in and day out, and then just the competitive nature of him and Gronk. Like, Gronk is the coolest guy off the field, on the field. But, like, once we get out there and we're strapped up and we're competing, like, he's going hard and he's trying to make every catch. So, like, it was always a battle just going against him. And there would be many times, like, he make a play and, I talk to him about it, or I make a play on him and he talk to me about it. So just getting each other better by competing. And I still say, man, it feels so good to be in New England and be a part of that class in 2010 where we had some really good players. And then myself and Gronk lasting, for 9 years playing together in the organization, to me was really cool, being the first and second round draft picks. First two picks in that class and being able to stick in New England. So it'll definitely be different seeing those guys somewhere else. But we made some unbelievable memories, I would say.
And then obviously playing with Tom and Gronk, you guys had a lot of high expectations. I mean, a lot of fans, because of how well you did, almost demanded a Super Bowl every year. That's what they wanted to see because they got used to it. So going down to Tampa, obviously Tom's bringing those same expectations. They're getting a lot of national media and stuff like that. Like, what advice would you give to the players down there, to how you kind of handled and coped with it up there? Because, I mean, it is a lot. It's got to be a lot mentally and a lot, obviously football is a physical game, so it's a lot physically, especially when you get that circle on your back. Everyone's saying, oh, Tom down there, Tom, So, I mean, Tom and the Patriots. So it's like they've got to be coming at you with your A game, and you got to expect it. So, like, mentally and physically, what advice would you give to them, and how did it affect you guys, preparing as well?
Oh, their opponents, I would tell them just to lose as much as
Different conference, man. Different
I don't want
conference.
to win a Super Bowl. They can win a Super Bowl after they retire and then win a Super Bowl in Tampa. Until I'm eliminated, I don't want to see them win. So I have zero advice for any fans or players.
That's good. And then
I would tell them to believe the hype.
Yeah.
All the opposite.
Believe that. And then the money question is, can I get an interview maybe?
Yeah. Shoot us an email or something. DM us. We'll try to make.
Okay. Twitter or Facebook?
Whichever.
All right, I'll DM you guys Twitter.
Yeah. Whatever one.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
I appreciate you.
Have a great night.
Not of the Buffalo Bills.
Or the Jaguars.
Yeah. Right.
Definitely not the Jaguars.
Yeah, he's from Jersey, man. Freak athlete. Sure. Rutgers missed on him, but it's all good.
Appreciate you.
Have a great night.
You too.
Reminder to you guys, get on the Fan Cred app. You'll see a green button to get in the fan line. You'll be able to get in line and get a chance to be side by side with me and Dev and ask your question. Hey, Dev, I just saw in the comments, is the Patriots defense the toughest to learn? I hate to compare. I would say whenever you go to a new system, it's always a learning curve. There's new terminology, whether for myself, whether I was learning the Titans defense from the multiple coaches we had or going to Cleveland or coming to New England. I wouldn't really compare them, but I would say all of them took a little while to get over the learning curve. And I would say the older I got, the easier it was. Early on in my Titans career, a new coach would come in. I was like, man, by the time I left Tennessee, I had been through so many defenses that there was nothing that was going to trick me. I just had to associate new terms with the ones that they were using there.
Hey, I got a text from my man Davon. Said he hopes Josh Allen was parked because he was doing a lot of talking in the car. So for the safety of the show, we might need to make sure people pull over and park. We can't be causing accidents.
Yeah, we don't want to be liable for nothing like that.
Davon, he works for the federal government, so we don't want him telling on our show. Larry said we need to get Bill Belichick on. I would tell Larry from Facebook, don't hold your breath. I don't know if that's going to happen.
That may cancel the podcast if Bill comes on.
Is there a former player that you never played with, wish that you could have played with? A former player.
Man, I would say Jerry Reiss. A chance to go against him.
Pat's player.
Oh, Pat. I thought you
not a past Patriots player.
Okay, I just heard past. Patriots player. Oh, that's easy for me. Just for I've been around him a lot, but Vince Wilfork. I mean, the times I've been around him, I'm always laughing, like just how he is as a person. I would love a chance to be on the field with him and in the locker room with him every day, just because of his energy.
Mine would be Lawyer Malloy. I met Lawyer after my rookie year, and how much he was just talking to me, teaching me different things about the Patriots, telling me his story. I would have loved to play with Lawyer and just how they seemed as a unit back in the day with him and Ty Law, and just even being at like Ty Law's induction and seeing a lot of those guys together. I would have loved to play safety along with Lawyer Malloy.
Before you continue, Nadine, Jason, your singing on Mother's Day video was magical. I appreciate that. Thank you.
The video was magical. You singing was not magical.
No. My wife would say it was magical as well. So I definitely appreciate that. We got Gina from Mass coming up next on the fan line, and everybody's asking for Sweet Feet. We need to get Sweet Feet on here, so we're gonna work on that. There we go. How you doing, Gina?
Hi. How are you guys?
Doing good.
So I started to ask a question last week, and I think I ran out of time and got cut off. So I was watching on Nesson a couple weeks back, and they were talking about, sports and, if football was required to, play without fans, and that, the NFL players, each team, would have to possibly quarantine from their families and only be, with, each team. So you guys, obviously would be away from your families for like 5 months or more. So my question is, what is your thoughts on that? Like, have you guys heard any talk of, what that's going to look like, or if you guys would even be ready to leave your families for 5 months straight? Because it's a long time. Because I know every time I see you guys and, moms chime in, and I know I've chimed in a few times, in the past with the boys and stuff like that. I have 3 boys, and, the moms with the babies, like you guys are family, man. Your face just like lights up, every time we talk about kids. So I know it would probably be tough for you guys to be away from the kids for 5 months. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we haven't heard anything. I've only heard like outside people suggesting that. Like that hasn't come up in anything team wide or league wide. But if I won't ever say never. But if I had to sit here tonight and answer that, I'll probably say absolutely not. I couldn't imagine. I just remember going from Tennessee to Cleveland and signing a short-term deal, and remember talking to my wife about whether they were going to come with me, stay in Nashville, and it was just like, nah, we're all going. I just believe in family. Like, it's so hard to be present when you're not actually present. So for me, and I know Dev probably feels the same as a father, it would be very tough to be away from my wife and kids for 5 months and be able to really focus on football and not be able to see them and touch them. So that would be very difficult.
Yeah, it would be hard. Like, I have a newborn coming the end of July, and just thought of like leaving, maybe seeing the baby born, and then not seeing the baby again until like 5 or 6 months. Anybody who has kids knows what 5 or 6 months, like that feels like you've been gone for 5 years. You got, the Google Gagas, you got smiling and laughing, miss all of those stages. So that'd be tough, man. And like Jay said, I don't want to say never, or I wouldn't, but that would be really hard for me to sit here and tell you going into my 11th year that I want to just be away from, a 3-year-old, 2-year-old and newborn. I just feel like I would miss a lot of time with my kids, let alone just my wife wanting to kill me from, we go date night. It's just the everything of being together, like Jay said, that'd be hard on our family.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I tried to ask 2 weeks ago, and my husband and I were watching it on Nessun, and that was one of the topics that came up, with some of the NFL players that they had to quarantine for that amount of time in order to keep their time in their with the NFL with each team. So
yeah,
we appreciate that, Gina. Thank you for stopping on in.
Yeah,
you're welcome. See you next week.
Yep. You know what's interesting about that? Like, a lot of people just in the military, like in our service for our country, a lot of people do that, and like that's really tough. So I think those would even be people to lean on. Like, if the league did move to that and you had to do that, and our job is so much easier. Like, we're playing football, we're out there defending our country, and getting to know some of those guys. And they even talk about how hard it is being away from their family and their loved ones out there. And for them, it's always tough for families at home and not know what's going on out there. So, I think that puts in perspective now for us as athletes, because people always compare us to service, and I'm always like, I teamwork and working together, yeah, but like they're in extreme pressure. Like, it's life or death. Is so different, and they do that, and they do it more than once a lot of times. So for me, just hearing that really makes me want to just say we really appreciate them and appreciate their service.
Well, without further ado, we got our guy E. LeGrand backstage. We got his camera and stuff working. So we're going to bring E right on. We got some questions for him before we let him get out of here. So right before Last Dance comes on, we there we go.
Yeah,
LeGrand.
I can't hear you guys right now.
Oh, you can't hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
I don't know why I can't hear you guys.
All right, we got it.
Maybe on the browser it popped up with the mic.
Yeah.
All right, we got it fixed.
We'll
Dang, who the Twins on the show? Y'all came in matching shirts, man.
What are you talking about?
You and E, he had the same shirt on as you.
I'm repping my guy right now. You know, have you guys talked to Jules since the Brady decision? Yeah, we've talked to Edeldahl. I mean, he's like the rest of us, obviously. That's his quarterback, so you hate to see him go, but it's a business, man. I think for players, we're all used to the nature of this thing, and at some point you've lost certain players that you've had to move on from, and obviously I don't want to say Brady's anything like any of the other guys that might have been lost, but at the same time, the process doesn't change. You have to be able to move on and get ready for an upcoming season. So I think Jules is doing the same, just like the rest of us.
Larry on Facebook said, what happened with Josh and Brady? I don't think anything happened. Jennifer asks, is there a pandemic disclosure in your contract? I do not believe so. What
we got here? Who is the current defensive player each of you would like to have on your roster and why? I'm not a guy that wishes for other guys on our team. I feel like there's so much talent within our locker room that I really don't. I mean, if you want to say, I'll answer a past player that you'd love to have in your locker room. I think about you're on a defense on a team led by Coach Belichick. I mean, Lawrence Taylor is a guy that you saw him play as a defensive back. I mean, who wouldn't want a guy like LT in front of you rushing the passer? So if I had to choose one, I'll say Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like when you pick current players, I feel like it's a disrespect, kind of slap in the face to any guy on your team to basically say, I want this guy over you. So I never enjoy doing that. So I agree with you. LT was a great player. Charles Woodson's a guy I would love to play with just because how versatile he was and playing multiple positions. So he's a guy that I think is awesome. I look to try to play one like him and do different things he did out there on the field.
No doubt. As we're working to get E back on here and get his sound going right for you, or do you have any, Marianne asked, do you have any pregame rituals?
Not really, man. Listen to music. I listen to a lot of the same songs every week. I would say there we go. We got E in there.
Now I can hear y'all now.
You hear us? All right, we're all good.
What? We just had to chop through adversity for the past 47 minutes, man. That was a 47-minute chop, man.
Oh, leave it to E to come in with the Rutgers chop.
Man, that was crazy. If you'd have seen what was going on over here the past 47 minutes, man. Crazy.
We're happy we got you. I mean, we see you come in, you got the Tampa Bay LeGrand jersey in the background. We're not on good terms with Tampa Bay right now, so we're not going to get into that too much, man. But we appreciate you stopping by and giving us some of your time, man.
No, absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me on. It always means a lot to talk to you guys.
No doubt, man. I was reading up, man. You're always busy. You just finished a virtual Zumba class. How was that, and what was that all about?
Man, I'll tell you. So I did a Zumba event 2 years ago for the foundation, something I wanted to do different because, I wanted to branch out the foundation a little bit, let everyone know that spinal cord injuries, they don't discriminate. It can happen to anybody. So I tried it 2 years ago, and let me tell you, we did a raffle with it. And there's a lot of females that do Zumba, so their Super Bowl is tricky tray raffles. They go nuts, like celebrating the touchdown in the end zone when they hear the name. So this year we did a Zumba one, and it was awesome. We had 10 different states participating there for the Zumba. Everyone had a good time. We did a little raffle for some hot sauce at the end, and we were able to raise funds for the foundation. So
that's awesome.
That's awesome, man. Happy to hear that. And then this year is going to mark the 10-year anniversary of your injury, correct? October 16th. Am I right in saying that?
Yes.
I know Corona and everything has slowed down, but you do a walk, a 5K every year. You guys still have something planned this year coming up as well, though, right?
Yeah, we're going to do it virtually this year. Of course, we can't do that at the stadium and around this campus. So we're trying to get all 52 states, that's including the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, to participate. Someone from every state to participate in the walk. And it's going to be, we want people to just walk around either the neighborhood, a track, a park, whatever is open at the time. And when they finish, we're asking people to take a picture and tag myself, Eric LeGrand 52 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is, or hashtag AWTB 2020, which means a Walk to Believe 2020. And at the end, we're going to have DJ Yoshi have a party for us at 7 p.m. We're going to go on TV LeGrand live and have make it a whole day event and just make it special because it is 10 years.
That's awesome. What day is this all going down?
This is going to be on June 6th. We're going to start at 10 a.m. with the opening ceremonies, and then we're asking people to participate from 10 a.m. all the way to 7 p.m. throughout the day. Just get that 5K in, whether if you run, walk, whatever you can roll through, or you can ride a bike, whatever it is. We're asking people to do a 5K that day and tag us so we can see people participating throughout the entire country and hopefully throughout the world.
I'm gonna make sure I get the wife. She got the baby with her, but we could walk. We could get off.
Hey, yeah.
I'll make sure Yoshi play my favorite hits too, man.
No, he's already texted me about the playlist. I'm like, all right, I gotta think of some stuff now.
Like you said, it's been 10 years, and every time I'm around you, man, since we met you and you came on campus, the positivity, the energy, it just comes right off you. Over these 10 years, what has been your motivating factor to continue to believe, continue to train and work hard, and to be able to get back to where you were?
Honestly, these past 10 years, when we were at Rutgers, we were in like our own little bubble. Like, we didn't know about the outside world that was going on while we were at Rutgers. After my injury, I got to see a little bit, especially being in the hospitals and being in the rehab centers. You start to hear other people's stories and other people's journeys on where they came from. And you kind of, I started to feel bad for some of the people, like a middle-aged woman who was on a ladder cleaning out her gutter and falls off and breaks her back. Someone who's never worked out a day in their life, and now they're in rehab, grinding away, 5 days a week, and taking off for the weekends. They never did that before. They don't know what it's like. So me, I'm saying, I've been an athlete. I have that athlete's mentality. I know how to grind. I know how to work. But for someone who gets this injury and doesn't have that same attitude, I want to be able to find a cure for them. So one day they don't have to go through that pain and suffering if they don't have that mentality that we've had to be able to attack the different adversity that's thrown in your life.
Man, that's crazy. I never even thought of that. Just you're unbelievable. Just to be motivated by other people, no matter what your circumstances are. Who's one person that you met and you were like, wow, like I'm so happy I met this person. They inspire me so much. Short conversation, long conversation. Who's someone like that you've met?
Honestly, this guy by the name of Adam Telefaro, he played for Penn State back in 2001. And as a freshman, he was playing cornerback. He went to make a tackle versus Ohio State. And he broke his neck. And they gave him the same odds, 0 to 5% chance to ever walk it again, never do this, never do that. And a year and a half later, he was able to lead his team back on the field versus Miami Hurricanes at Beaver Stadium versus Penn State. He came walking up into my room at Kessler, and I didn't know who he was. He came walking, had a little bit of a limp, and he introduced himself to me. And then he goes, I want to show you this DVD before I really get into my story. And it was like 10 minutes long. And it was the day that he got injured, and then I brought him back to going into that stadium and walking out. And ever since that day, I remember being up in my room. It was like December 2010. I said, you know what? That's going to be me one day. I can't wait for that to happen.
Man, that's awesome. Now, what's the future hold for you? What are your aspirations, man? We see you. I've seen you on radio. Obviously, Coach Shiano's back on the banks. We'll get into that a little bit. But everybody that we play with is back coaching. Can we see E. LeGrand on the sideline one day? What you got in the cards, man?
Now, you might see me doing a little something over there with coaching them and the team trying to get, rallying around the state, around Rutgers. We need, this whole tri-state area to represent Rutgers, have that block R everywhere. So being a little bit of an ambassador for them and helping them out in that regards. But other than that, I try to keep my motivation speaking up during this coronavirus time now. It's allowed me to think out the box. So many of my events and what I do is with people, being around people. And now all that got shut down. So I'm thinking, how can I start, keeping myself out there and building my brand now that I can't meet up with in person with people. So different platforms now using virtual technology, I'm going to have to try out. So a lot of things coming, in the speaking world, and maybe some of my public speaking tips I might start doing. So I'm excited about that, but we'll see. I start also working a little bit with Rutgers.
There we go. How fired up are you to have Shiano back there?
Yeah, you know how it is, man. That's our guy. It needed to happen, man, and everything that's gone on in the past few years. Of course, I know you guys hear it in the locker room too, and everywhere you go, it's like, damn, what's going on with Rutgers?
Yeah.
What's happening? It's just like we're going through a little struggle phase. All right, we gonna get back. We gonna get back.
We're gonna be all right.
You know, the guy that's coached us there has, brought us to where we wanted to be. We knew it wasn't always easy, it wasn't always fun, but it was what needed to happen for us to get to where we wanted to be. And now those guys there, those kids there, are going to get that experience, and they get to do it in the Big Ten with more money coming into the program, building up that whole campus and the excitement of having that Big Ten network and everything, the New York media right in their backyard. It's going to be fun for them. And that's why I'm more excited for those kids, because they've been going through the struggle, man. Yeah.
Last question for me, but we see you got the Tampa Bay stuff in the background. Can you just give us the background story of the LeGrand jersey back there, speaking of Shiano?
Yeah, when I got hurt in 2010, my draft class year would have been in 2012, trying to make it to the NFL. And, geez, I remember when it was May 2nd of 2012, Coach called me up, and he had just took the job down in Tampa, a few months earlier. And I remember just of course, thinking about every year when that time comes around, being drafted and being in the NFL, your dream coming true. And we were just talking back and forth with each other, having a good time. And then at the end, he goes, "Hey, E, we want to sign you as the 90th man on the roster on the team." I'm like, "Coach, what you mean? Like, you the 90th man? Like, I can't even play it down." He goes, "Yeah, we want to sign you on, bring you on the team, and get you down here, get to meet everybody, and be a part of the team, because we want our players to understand your story and how you go about your life, and we want them to, be a reflection of you." And I was just like, "You know what, Coach? I can't play it down in football right now, but I appreciate that. And, this is something I'll never forget doing this, because it made my dream come true, even though I never even got to line up in the three-point stance to play."
Man, that's so awesome. And I still remember I got to be in the stadium the day your number went up there in the stadium and see that and be at that game. The atmosphere was awesome. I've been to your walks. There's just a light around you, bro. Like, whenever you're doing something, people get to see they're inspired by you. I mean, people in the comments, all caps believe, such an inspiration. Just keep shining, man. No matter what, people see you and they want to be like you. They want to do things. They want to have your mindset. So continue to just spread that all throughout the world, man. It's very needed, especially with what's going on right now. Like you said, the more you can get your message and your thoughts out there, it'll help individuals everywhere.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, you guys always been a big support of mine, whether by events, setting stuff, signed memorabilia, that really means a lot to me, because all I do is got to make a phone call to you guys, a text message, and you guys always got my back, and that's what that family is all about. No matter where we are in our walks of life right now, just make that phone call, that text message, and I know you guys got my back, and I appreciate everything that you guys are doing for the community, for your guys' foundation, and just being good people in the world in general. So much love to you guys. I'm glad to know you.
No doubt.
We appreciate it, man.
We'll be calling you soon for them broadcasting tips. As soon as this NFL career over, we'll be hitting you up.
I know y'all gonna be on TV one day. I know you guys are gonna do it. Got the personality. I know you're gonna break down the game for us.
We're gonna get them tips from you.
No doubt.
Come take my job now. You know what
I mean? Hey, you go watch that Last Dance and enjoy your night, bro. We'll holler at you.
I appreciate y'all.
Taking on tonight, man.
Broncos country.
Oh, here you go.
I had to end it with that.
All right, bro.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you guys. Take care.
Have a good night.
You too.
Man, that's always awesome. We got Rutgers legends in here. I'm telling you, I was there. Like, the crowd was going crazy every time he's around. Awesome. And if you never checked it out, YouTube, LeGrand ESPYs when he got his ESPY, unbelievable, man. If you never watched that, trust me. I mean, you'll probably have to watch it after The Last Dance, but that is something you definitely want to watch.
And for you guys that missed it, he said June 6th will Walk to Believe. It will obviously be virtual this year. Walk around your neighborhood, a local track if it's open. Devin, myself, we will be out there June 6th. I will have the kids with me. They will be walking their 5K, and they will understand why they're walking the 5K. They get to see Dad play football all the time. They get to see their uncle play, and they'll explain to them what it's all about. And having a teammate like LeGrand, like I said, man, there hasn't been a day since I've been back, the times I've gone back to Rutgers and he's been there, I've never seen him down or in the dumps or anything like that. Always been 100% positive and motivating and ready to attack the next day. So before we get out of here and we turn on The Last Dance, we got one more fan we're going to bring on. We got Zach from Westwood. We're going to bring Zach on, and that'll be our last one for tonight before we go check out the last 2 episodes of MJ. So we got Zach coming up.
All right, what's up, guys? How you guys doing?
How you doing?
Pretty good. So, Last Dance, last 2 episodes premiering right now. What has been your guys' favorite episode so far?
I won't go episode. I'll just say moments. I'll say Jordan's talk about leadership was really good for me. Me and my wife were sitting there watching, and we just started talking about what my thoughts on leadership was, and then getting a chance to hear Shannon Sharp's take. Jordan, obviously, I think on it, he was like, if you have a problem with my leadership, it's because you probably never won anything. And then Shannon Sharp was talking about the fact that he didn't agree with Jordan's leadership, and he's a 3-time Super Bowl champ. And I think that brought up just a lot of thought about, man, what does it mean to be a leader? You know, for a lot of guys and people like the Mike Reisses of the world and different beat reporters, they're all right about leadership. And I remember being in Tennessee for so many years, and you may not have a guy yelling and screaming, and it'd be like, oh, this team doesn't have leaders. And to me, there's so many people that can lead in their own given right. So just hearing Jordan speak about that for me, it just brought up a lot of thoughts, and I thought was really good.
My favorite moment by far, Dennis Rodman going to Vegas, because I think everyone was like, that's wild. But to me, it just showed what like being on a team was all about. Like him going to Vegas, wrong in so many ways, but it was right for that team. You know, him going, doing what he needed to do. The whole team wasn't like, man, why did Dennis get to do that? Everybody was locked in on like, we want to win. And if that's how we win, that's how we win. And he comes back. He's the first one in the Indian run. He's beating everybody. He's in shape. And to me, that was an aspect of like team that I think not everyone understands and gets to see. That a team is so multifaceted. Everyone has different roles, everyone has different needs. And Phil Jackson, as a coach, had to meet those needs. And you know, you look at Phil and the way he was, very kind of easygoing mentality, and Mike was just like a dog, like just getting after people, and it's all doing together so well. To me, kind of showed how their team operated, and I love seeing that.
For sure, man.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate
Have a good night.
Hey,
Enjoy The Last Dance.
There we go, man. Before we get out of here, our boy Chris Cuneo from Lyndhurst, a fellow St. Joe's alum. What's up, Chris, man? Good to see you in here, man. He said, bless up, fellas. Hope you're doing well, man. Good to hear from you. As always, man, we appreciate you guys.
And Richard, we'll get you next week on how to get your daughter to go to Rutgers. We get you next week.
There we go. Appreciate you guys, Dev.
Yeah, we're closing with this, man. 2020 graduates. A lot has happened. People are starting to graduate. Please take advantage of your opportunity. Be prepared. A lot of the unexpected is going on, and it's tough. And you've had great people. You had Obama talk to you about you being the future. I saw Oprah Winfrey talking to me about you being the future. LeBron James put together a great thing. And people keep comparing LeBron to Jordan. To me, LeBron is what we've needed in our era. He's been a guy that's been out in the community, done great things. But for all you young people, continue to work hard, believe in your dream, and just be prepared to take advantage of whatever that next opportunity is. It might be different than what you thought it was, but it's there and it's there for the taking. Go take it.
There you go. As always, Dev comes with the heat to end it up and wrap up.
Tell your mama, we made it.
Wind down the weekend for you guys. Make sure every week get that Fan Cred app. Get a chance. Once you sign up, you'll get a chance to come side by side and ask Devin and myself a question. That green button gets you in line. And then also iTunes, YouTube, double coverage with the McCourty Twins. You guys make sure you go subscribe, man. Appreciate you guys. Enjoy your night.
Happy birthday, Tony. Your wife wanted a shout out. Happy birthday to Tony.
There you go. Have a great night, you guys. Enjoy The Last Dance and have a great see you next week. Appreciate it.